Hi, this is a multipolar nerve cell. The dendrites are afferent fibers, meaning they receive information that are coming from other cells. This information then travels down into the cell body or the soma, and the function of this is metabolization of proteins for growth of the cell. The nucleus is also located here, and it contains the DNA that determines the cell types. The next portion of this nerve cell is the beginning portion of the axon, otherwise known as the hillock. Action potential is generated here. The rest of this portion of the axon is covered in a myelin sheath, which insulates and protects the nerve fibers and prevents electrical energy loss. The little purple cells underneath the myelin will either be oligodendrolia cells in the central nervous system or Schwann cells in the peripheral nervous system. In between each segment are the nodes of Ranvier, and it is not covered by the myelin sheath because its function is to help conduct the nerve impulses through the axon at a fast rate. The very end of this diagram represents the axon terminal, otherwise known as ending buttons or the synapse. These little buttons contain the efferent fibers, not afferent like the dendrites, because it is sending information away from this cell to the other neurons. We have the synaptic vesicles, whose function is to release the neurotransmitters. We have the synaptic cleft, where these neurotransmitters are diffused and then ultimately received by the postsynaptic cells of the neighboring dendrite. For resting potential of this cell, the potassium is negative and inside, while the sodium is positive and on the outside. The sodium-potassium pump helps change the potential from a chemical potential to an electrical potential, which depolarizes the cell, therefore making it have a positive charge. As the action potential travels through the cell, it will ultimately exit through the synaptic vesicles. Repolarization is when the sodium travels out of the cell becomes negative again, and both the sodium and the potassium go back to their resting potential.